I'm not sure all of you are ready for this story. Hamburgers, football, and no condom. In 10 seconds, James Carville decides to just project maybe how he's feeling or conversations that he's might have had. Because apparently everyone in corporate media is having a little collective meltdown because some are saying, like James Carville, that the Democratic Party is filled with preachy women, or the Democratic Party is falling apart, or the Democratic Party hates men, or everyone in corporate media, BSDNC, are just right now so upset they're having a meltdown over the fact that Trump is kicking ass. Yes, I know. Trump is losing to Biden. Biden is incapable of keeping together his political movement. Biden is looking senile more and more. And of course, everybody at BSDNC needs to project. And James Carville decided to project the most. Folks, give it up. Say it, James. What's going on?
I think Democratic culture has too many preachy females. It's too much. Don't eat hamburgers. Don't watch football. All right, wear condom. Like, man.
He just said those three things out loud, and I'm wondering this man's relationship status or conversations he's had. I guess Carville just doesn't want to wear a condom. He wants to eat hamburgers, and he wants to watch football 24/7. I don't know, James. If you're trying to sell the opposition party, some people might jump on board for it. Imagine election campaign. Hi, hold on. You know what? If we're gonna do acting, if we're gonna do election, like, hello, my name is Candidate X. Are you tired of the liberals taking away your hamburgers? Are you tired of people saying that you can't watch football? Do you want to get rid of those condoms and go Monday Night Raw all the time, every time? Well, then vote for Candidate X 2024, where freedom is freedom. We're making sure that hamburgers are reinstated, that football is available for all, and condoms are illegal. Say it again one more time, James. What's going on?
I think Democratic culture has too many preachy females. It's too much. Don't eat hamburgers. Don't watch football. All right, wear condom. Like, man, shit, leave me alone. You okay? I got a goddamn life to lead. You know, guy works at a tire repair shop in suburban Atlanta. You know, motherfuckers working 50 hours a week, you know, making $16.50 an hour, and he wants to watch the football game. He wants
and not wear a condom,
to smoke dope and drink beer, and then everybody's telling him he's slothful, and they reject that shit. And you know, I just think some of it is cosmopolitan condensation, if you will. Like, you need to lead the kind of life we lead, not the kind of life you lead. And it pisses people off.
Well, that's across the board. That's black, white. That's a big part of Trump. That's a big part of Trump.
It's Hispanic. We're going to lose Hispanic males.
Yeah.
We're going to fucking lose them.
And that's on that male-female issue. That's on, I mean, you know, it very much, they want to see the strong, this is a generalization, but strong dominant male in a household. I mean, you know.
So I guess, hey, James just wanted to unload, just to scream out loud. Hey, come on, man. Americans, all what they want is cold beer, football, and a place to take a dump with a door on it. If you caught the Frisky Dingo reference, I love you for it. If you didn't, don't worry about it. But nonetheless, there's more to this meltdown, because none of these pundits are capable of understanding the fact that they are losing. Not only are they losing the trust of the people, but they're becoming humorless pricks as well.
We saved the world from those forts, and now they decide to take the names off. And wait till you see ultimately what happens with those names. They did, I call it a transition, like transitioning. They have a transition name before they name it. The Reverend Al Sharpton Fort. Fort Al Sharpton. Now you can just imagine But this is a transition. They've done a couple of transitions. These people they're sick.
Sick. They're sick. No, they don't like losers. They don't like losers, Donald. I know you like losers. You like losing. You've lost 7 years in a row. I don't know if you know, but because of you, your party lost in 2017.
Mika, blink twice if you need help. This is how humorless corporate media is. Trump was making a joke. Whether or not there's going to be a fort named after Reverend Al Sharpton, it's probably going to be a ridiculous fort. But no, it was a joke. A joke, BSDNC. And don't worry, I got a special segment just for them a little bit later.
Lost 7 years in a row. I don't know if you know, but because of you, your party lost in 2017. Your party lost in 2018. Your party lost in 2019. Your party lost in 2020. Your party lost in 2021. Your party lost in 2022. Your party lost in 2023. If the past is prologue, your party's going to lose in 2024. So, yeah, there are a lot of people in the South, Southerners like myself. We don't really like naming forts after losers. That's not transitioning. That's like we want to name forts after American patriots who win wars. Donald, maybe you should see the beginning of Patton, where George C. Scott stands in front of an American.
Oh, Mika, you're probably thinking, why did I marry this loser? Blink twice if you need help, Mika. Mika! I know, and here's the thing. Corporate media, again, is showing its true bias because all corporate media has its bias, including Fox News, CNN, New York Times. They keep calling Trump a loser, but here's the thing. How is he a loser one day and then the biggest threat to democracy the next? Which one is it? By the way, we are a republic because never forget, corporate media seem to have a little collective panic. The fact that Trump supporters were calling the United States a constitutional republic, which is what we are. We are a constitutional republic, but on one hand, he's a threat to it. On the other hand, he's a loser. Which one is it? Because if he's a loser, then you guys would not have been promoting Hillary in 2016 and then eat crow. And then in 2020, just because Biden beat Trump, he did it by the skin of his teeth. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter because Trump is still around. And all of these legal proceedings, it hasn't hurt his numbers. He's still doing well in key battleground states in which if Trump is able to get enough people to turn out, he wins those electoral college votes. He's not a loser. You guys are projecting, and you're once again revealing that a majority of y'all are just humorless pricks.
Flag and says Americans don't want and won't abide losers. They want winners. And so, yeah, we don't want some loser who tried to overthrow the federal government so slavery could continue another 100 years or so. We like winners. I say that as a Southerner. Okay. Little worried about Alabama Crimson Tide. I mean, is DeBoer going to be as good as Saban? I don't know. But if he's not, they'll fire him. Because that's how we think in the South. That's how we think in America. So, yeah, you want to name forts after losers? After Confederate soldiers?
Here we go again. Look. You're bringing up a non-issue because you're calling Trump a loser, but yet you guys talk about him 24/7. And the only reason why I'm calling this out and covering this is because we need to shine a light on just how incompetent our media is. This is all what they can do. They're never going to talk about insider trading in Washington, D.C. They're never going to talk about how the fact that the Pentagon has never yet had a successful audit. They are never going to talk about why Julian Assange was behind bars correctly. They're never going to address the unending corruption at the state level and federal level across this country. They are never going to talk about the fact that we are stuck in these endless wars. But they will talk about Trump. Why? Because we'll never forget what the former head of CBS once said. Donald Trump, his words are saying are bad for America, but good for CBS. And they were good for MSNBC, BSDNC, and CNN, Fox News, ABC, New York Times, because all what they can do is talk about him.
Confederate generals that rebelled against the United States of America. That's you. Reverend Al, I'll take a Fort Sharpton. It sounds nice.
I like it.
It sounds nice about an America, about a military moving toward a more perfect union. and not stuck in its slaveholding past. Like poor Donald there wants us to be stuck.
Also, I kind of like how corporate media is putting on these rose-colored glasses of the Civil War. Yes, the Union won. It defeated the Confederacy. But as for the freed slaves, they were treated to segregation, abuse of power, terror tactics. I mean, it wasn't a perfect union. It wasn't rainbows and sunshines, handshakes and a high five. There were still a lot of issues to address in the aftermath of the American Civil War.
In the mid-1800s.
Well, I think that one of the things that comes to mind is, of course, he's playing to a crowd that clearly is against some of the things that I've represented, civil rights and other things. But the fact of the matter is he's also revealing himself. Most military bases are named after people who served in the military. And the one thing that he and I have in common is neither one of us served in the military. So you would think after being president 4 years, he would know by now what military bases are for. But he also showing to say that we should not take military generals or military people off of naming our military bases, as you've just talked about, Joe. It shows how he embraces Confederates being preserved as something that taxpayers of all races are paying for. Let's remember when we had the marches of blacks and Jews together in Charlottesville for the removal of Robert E. Lee, the Confederate general statue, and people were killed. One lady was killed. It was Trump that said there were fine people on both sides. So he reminds us of his embrace of that. And to take it a step further, in the collage of quotes you showed or statements he made over the weekend, he now is openly saying that women's rights ought to be done by states' rights. The whole civil rights movement was to get away from states' rights and have the federal government protect our civil rights.
Hold on, because here's the danger now. It's the Uno reverse card about the federal government, because now the federal government is taking away rights, putting the jackboot of censorship. And the thing is, states' rights, it's not just a conservative thing. It doesn't belong to a group of hateful people. State rights is the backup, because our founding fathers, even though some of them are flawed, right? No such thing as perfect, had the genius idea of realizing, hey, wait a minute, what happens if our federal government gets out of pocket and decides to smack us around and become abusive? Then we need to have that backup, and that is called states' rights, which I am a proud supporter of. I believe in states' rights because, after all, states' rights is what can help us ensure us have a better democracy, a better republic. Isn't that something? Because after all, citizen ballot initiatives have fundamentally proven to be correct and an effective tool in order for people to maintain their rights and get more freedom, such as a woman's right to choose, or cannabis legalization for recreational and medicinal use, or heaven forbid, someday, not today, but maybe Medicare for all, and doing so many other wonderful social programs, because states' rights is fundamentally important to our well-being as citizens of this great constitutional republic of ours, in theory. Because it's the federal government now that is putting its weight upon us. Am I wrong?
Now he's saying women's rights should be dealt with state by state, which was exactly the template of segregation and something the civil rights movement and now the women's rights movement must fight against.
I would say embrace the states' rights movement, because when ballot initiatives were put in various states about protecting a woman's right to choose, surprise, surprise, the citizens of red and blue states have done that, protecting a woman's right to choose, even in conservative red states. My goodness, conservative red states that are citizen ballot initiative states. So embrace it, because the federal government failed. You think Obama and the Democrats, a lot of those women senators and House representatives, care about the average woman here in America? No, they don't. And there was numerous attempts. Now, I'm not even wanting to include Obama's super majority when he was in his first 2 years in his first term, which he then said he wasn't politically expedient. But the Democrats had numerous opportunities to codify Roe v. Wade, and they chose not to. But they have plenty of time to send you an email asking you for money. But going on further, it is interesting about the Democratic Party and how corporate media is still deflecting everything. Because here's where Van Jones says Democratic Party hates men. And I also want to give a shout out to Cool Blue 71. No party wins or loses every election cycle. What Joe Scarborough, Morning Blow, says, it says of Republicans losing so many cycles, Republicans are about to win here in 2024. To which I have to say, yes, it all depends on voter enthusiasm and voter turnout. And at least from all the events and rallies I've seen of Donald Trump, they are still reminiscent of the crowds he was able to pull in 2016, in 2020, and even now. You want to know who's not pulling in crowds? The Democrats.
Trump does seem to be appealing to significant numbers, particularly of Latino voters, but also black men. What's going on?
The Obama-Biden coalition is in trouble.
Oh, yeah. That's a statement of the day. It's always been in trouble because guess what the Democrats did to progressives and independents? Push us out. Talk down to us. And of course, approving of policies and agendas in which we're just being yelled at and lectured to. Well done, Democrats. Now I can understand why a lot of people are, again, making fun of you because it's just that easy. But of course, when you do that, a lot of corporate media pundits, they get triggered. Occasionally they'll say the truth.
It's in trouble. And I get beat up every time I say it, but it's obvious that it's in trouble. And it has to do with a number of things. Number one, the white working class guys left for your campaign in 2016, the Democratic Party. And now black and Latin working class guys are following along. And they don't have to follow in massive numbers. Again, this is razor edge stuff. So, I mean, listen, the vast majority of black people are going to vote for President Biden. The vast majority of black women are going to vote for President Biden. The vast majority of...
Are you certain about that? Wait a minute. Say that again, sir.
And they don't have to follow in massive numbers. Again, this is razor edge stuff. So, I mean, listen, the vast majority of black people are going to vote for President Biden.
The vast majority of black people are going to vote for Biden? Are you certain? Because in the stories and articles and from what I've seen in my own fair city, black people aren't too excited about Biden. Now, no, I don't want to speak for every single community, but from the polling data, the videos, from what I'm seeing in the streets, from what I'm seeing on social media, black people ain't so happy, ain't so supercharged to jump up and down for Joe 30330.
The vast majority of black women are going to vote for President Biden. The vast
are we certain? Are we certain? Are we certain about that?
Majority of black men are going to vote for President Biden, but that's not the point. The point is you have a margin that is hurting and uncertain among black and Latin men as to whether we have a place in this party. It's not easy to talk about, but there is a sense among a lot of guys that you talk to that they're just tired of being lectured, tired of being wrong, tired of being criticized, tired of being called toxic, tired of
But all of corporate media was promoting that. You guys were promoting that in 2016. A lot of things that the Democrats did to alienate a lot of their supporters, men and women, white, black, brown, yellow, you name it, no matter who they worshipped. These were policies and things that the Democrats were promoting heavily with the help of corporate media in Hollywood. You just can't do a backtrack now. I mean, you guys were starting this in 2016, especially all the massive wave of censorship and sensitivity and cancel culture. Guess what? Cancel culture and sensitivity and censorship doesn't work. The world is a brutal place. It is not a liberal arts college campus. And Democrats, you're now figuring out, plus on top of that, adding to the fact, and I've said this before over and over again, Democrats, the number one issue is going to be the economy. People are starving. People are struggling. But you know what? I'm going to return us back to a fun time. We're going to do a little bit of a rewind because you know something? Because you know something, Democrats? It's going to be beautiful to see you guys have another meltdown. It's going to be beautiful to see these pundits cry and scream. But at least I can laugh at them. Because, James, tell us again how you really feel about the Democratic Party.
I think Democratic culture has too many preachy females. It's too much. Don't eat hamburgers. Don't watch football. All right, wear condom. Like,
The life and times of James Carville and everyone else is a corporate media hack fraud within the establishment system. Hey, my fellow Americans, are you tired of being told not to eat red meat? Stand up. Eat a hamburger. Are you being told not to watch football? Slam that door, up the volume of the TV and play it loud. That's right. Stand up. And are you tired of being told wear a condom? Move aside. No condom equals victory. 10 seconds. 10 seconds in playing this video. We get an insight into James Carville. But this is stunning political analysis. And the Democrats wonder why no one's supporting them. Or is it that why no one takes corporate media seriously anymore?
But I think Democratic culture has too many preachy females. It's too much. Don't eat hamburgers. Don't watch football. All right, wear a condom. Like, man, shit, leave me alone.
The biggest takeaway is, Cassie Lloyd, 10 out of 10. You're making a bold statement here. Let them talk. Keep bringing them down, as they should, because what we're going to witness here, folks, what we will witness is a meltdown of epic biblical proportions, the likes of which that will make 2016 seem meek and tame in comparison. Now, I don't know what's going to happen on election night, but with the numbers as they are, Trump is very well on the pathway of becoming president again. This could very well happen. And Donald Trump could possibly once again be sitting in the White House. Can you imagine how glorious it's going to be when these pundits like James Carville or Morning Blow start doing the finger blaming, finger pointing, yelling and screaming and crying? Can you imagine how glorious the TikToks and the Twitter videos will be, the Instagram videos of people crying, melting down? Let them keep talking. Cassie Lloyd is right. Let them keep talking, because there will be such an epic fail, the likes of which you will cherish. You will tell your children and your grandchildren of this time, of when, quote unquote, intellectuals, people of authority, were crying like babies in front of the whole world. Corporate media, Democrats, I know that 2024 is still a shock to you. I love you, but you are not serious people. But I will end this on one last note. Hard Lens Media is for anybody eating a hamburger, be it a cheeseburger, a bison burger, a turkey burger, and hell, why not? Why not a veggie burger? All burgers are awesome, right? Hard Lens Media is for football, be it American style or the whole world style football. That's right, or also known as soccer, aka soccer. We're all for that, but watch it in moderation. Go out and touch grass. And as for a condom, hey, folks, it's a scary, unsafe world out there. Do not be that fool. Wrap your tool, gentlemen.